Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Crossover Podcast. My name is David Shynock. If the intro to this specific episode is a little bit different, there's a reason for that. I am currently back home in Pennsylvania, and because of that, the computer that I normally edit with is still back in New York City. By Thursday, I'll be back in New York, so everything will be good to go, but I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find the audio file that I originally selected as the intro and outro song. I'm hoping to be able to figure it out, but I thought about it about 30 seconds prior to recording this, so I'm not sure how that's going to work. But nevertheless, if it's a cold intro, still welcome back. More than happy to be here. Happy to even be recording this at home. There's a lot of things on my mind and a lot of nostalgia that comes with being back home. But the first thing that I want to talk about is something that I actually saw this morning when I was getting on the train at Penn Station to leave to come back home. And it was a specific tweet that we see a lot, but for some reason it was getting traction again. I forget who retweeted it, but I won't give the person's name. I don't want to put any more publicity to this person in general, but I just want to read what they said. They said, and I quote, "Young men, here's some dad advice. Do you play fighting games? Instead, join a jiu-jitsu or boxing gym. Call of Duty? Walk down and enlist as a Marine. Sports games? Go outside and play sports. With people. Don't be a thumb warrior. Do it for real like your grandpa did." And the tweet, I don't know whether it was because I was on 5 hours of sleep going into this morning, which is abnormally low for me, or whether I'm just sick and tired of hearing this narrative. But it is so damn dumb to still be hearing this in 2020. Like, I'll throw the counter argument out there early. Yes, I understand people still need to go outside, need to exercise, and still need to be healthy human beings with normal social interactions and learn how to communicate with people outside of just the digital world. I get that. That's a separate topic. The argument here, and the argument that I see a lot, is that video games are a waste of time. You could be doing other things in real life. Why even try these things? And it's so irritating because I grew up with that same argument, and it only ever made me want to play video games more. And it feels like the parenting argument is just so flawed in that nature, because if you try and stop somebody from doing something, they're just going to want to do it more. And there's three specific reactions that I had to this, which I'm trying to make sure I don't come off too harsh here, but I feel like it needs to be said. First was a more relative point of, how in the world do you translate a MOBA to real life? How would I do the things that you can do in League of Legends or in Dota or even in Heroes of the Storm, whatever the game may be? How in the world do you do that in real life? It's literally impossible. Like, it's the dumbest take in the world. The argument for sports, I get it, because it's a one-to-one comparison that people will constantly make, and while it's annoying to still dispel, it is what it is. I'm not going to fight that as hard. But the Call of Duty argument of telling somebody to go join the Marines just because they like playing Call of Duty is beyond absurd. Like, absolutely ridiculous in all aspects. Ignoring the political side alone, just because somebody enjoys playing Call of Duty does not mean that it's something they would ever want to do in real life. Ever. For a lot of people, video games are an escape. And to call them thumb warriors for wanting that escape from real life, or even on top of that, to add the social element that allows a lot of people who are a little bit more awkward in social situations like myself, the ability to communicate with people in any capacity online on a consistent basis, is what we need in life. You don't want to... Oh, God, it's just annoying. Let people learn how to socialize in their own ways, and they will find happiness in life. Your happiness, or the happiness that your grandfather had, is not going to be the same as your kids might have. And you need to respect that. You need to understand that. I'm not saying video games can't potentially be a problem if people get addicted to them, because there are issues that come with that. But to say that people are thumb warriors for playing video games, just miss me with the narrative. Completely miss me with it. What about the people that want to play games to turn it into a real life career? What if somebody is that interested in esports and he decides he wants to pursue a career, or he or she wants to pursue a career, whether that's in business, game design, game development? You're telling me these people are wasting their time. They're making good money. And you're really going to sit here and tell me that that's a waste of time and that they're thumb warriors? Please. Seriously, please, miss me with that narrative. I'm so damn done with it. I hate seeing it, and I will call it out every time that I see it, because it needs to be addressed. I'm done passively letting these jabs slide. I'm just going to continue to call people out on it. So that narrative needs to stop. I will continue fighting it, but I want to transition that to a more positive topic, and one that I teased last week, which for some reason became super relative over the last 4 to 5 days, and that gamers are taking over golf somehow. Not obviously the professional side of things, but in terms of content creation, in terms of Twitter interaction, gaming and golf is for some reason taking off. And I'm saying that somewhat facetiously because I know why it's taking off. To recap my involvement with golf, I am an inactive PGA A-class professional. I spent many years, I believe 6 or 7, working in the golf industry. I have played since I was 4. I love the game to death. I can't stand watching it on television because it bores the crap out of me. But I absolutely love the game. And what's fascinating, and what just got announced, and I tried to get somebody from the tournament onto the podcast, but unfortunately wasn't able to work anything out. Recently announced was the Golf and Gaming Invitational, which I looked at, I was like, okay, maybe this is just like some randomly put together thing. Well, no, it's not, because then you go down the guest list. The first person that they announce is Josh Hart. So, okay, celebrity, decently big. FaZe Kaz is in it. So he gets 29 likes on the tweet. Then you get some other celebrities. You get Rambo from Call of Duty. And then out of nowhere comes Papa Hecz. 566 likes. Easily the biggest tweet of this tournament yet. And that's with the names of Nothing, with Puckett, with Seth Curry, with several others coming in on this tournament as well. I'll save the next one for last. But basically, there's a golf tournament going on at Shadow Creek, which for those that don't know, Shadow Creek is one of the best courses in the state of Nevada. I believe it is private. I can't even remember what the initiation fee is. But it is a very exclusive club that few people without decently high status get to play in. So Hecz is playing in this, and then I knew it was coming, and there's one more person I think is going to come as well, but Nadeshot was just announced today as well, which, if you follow his Twitter, you've known that he's been getting into golf. He's looked at starting golf vlogs, which, by the way, shout out to the dude who submitted a quick Twitter video, I think it was, to be Nadeshot's golf vlog editor. He put together one of the best little montages that I've seen of golf editing outside of GM Golf and some of the dedicated golf YouTubers. But Nadeshot was kind of a shoo-in. It got announced today, and I'm waiting for Fwiz to also be announced because he's taken up golfing as well over the last, I want to say, year or two. So the question becomes, one, why has gaming and golf got to the point where we can start having tournaments on it now? And the answer is twofold, and can get a little complicated on the second part, but the first one I'll address. Obviously, as people get older, golf becomes a sport that people generally tend to pick up. And the reason for that is twofold. One, golf is not a easily accessible game. There is a large income gap to start playing the game. It is not cheap to not only get a set of clubs, but to play enough to the point where you can become fairly decent and it feels good to consistently play. You can go to the driving range all you want. Top Golf is incredible for that. But learning how to actually play on the course is very different and is very difficult. And if you're paying $40 to $50 a round to consistently play, that racks up over time. Middle to low income can't always afford that. And that's even assuming that some of the courses are 40 to 50. It can get more expensive at that at certain places. Obviously, it can get cheaper if you go to the south, but golf's not a cheap sport. It takes a little bit to get into, and it takes a lot of time. It's not easy to invest 4 hours for a round of golf. If you're in the city, it's way more than that. In New York City, for me to play one round right now, you're looking at an hour and a half subway ride, 5 hours of golf because the pace of play is so slow, another hour and a half to get home. It's an entire day. And dedicating an entire day to one thing in the city is actually very difficult. It would make it a lot easier if I made enough money to have a car or be able to afford to take Ubers consistently, in addition to the greens fees, which are higher. But the game is not cheap. It is not easy to get into. On top of that, we do not do a good job yet of getting kids into golf. Now, this has been a problem that we have talked about as an inclusive term for the golf industry, myself being technically a part of that. It has been an issue that we've addressed for many years. I actually oversaw the youth programs at Hershey Country Club and Huntsville Golf Club my freshman and sophomore year, and actually traveled with two fairly good kids. Shout out to Logan. He was a 11-year-old that spun the ball better than most adults I've ever seen in my life, and always wore like the Ricky Fowler hat and everything else. But we had a traveling youth program called I think it was the PGA Junior Golf Tour, PGA Junior Links. The fact that the name is easily escapable from the mind once again goes to the point of there's no, Saturday morning soccer game for golf. Like, it's not a sport that you get your kids into and you can have a dedicated day once a week that they can go to a match. I mean, you can if you belong to a country club where those things are a lot more easily accessible and programs like that are made readily available. I had one program similar to that growing up at, I believe it was the Boys and Girls Club, where they kind of taught chipping and putting, but you never really got out on the course. So again, the problem comes of how do you get kids to actually play the game of golf? How do you get it to the point where if you go on YouTube, you can find some of the golf vlogs of like 11 to 13-year-olds. Their parents just drop them off at the golf course, and 4 of them can entertain themselves for 5 hours as they go play golf and vlog the entire thing. Like, how do you get golf to ingrain itself in the culture without changing everything? And the reality is, I think you kind of have to, or at least at a minimum, golf should be more or less free for younger people. Think of it as an investment. Like, one of the best opportunities that I ever personally received was a chance to belong to Carlisle Country Club my senior year of high school. So, my family, we never bought into a country club. I played the most amount of golf out of everybody, but even then, it just wasn't worth it to belong to a club like that. I would pay $300 a year to belong to the local course Mayapple and play there for, I think, $10 to $15 each round. So you pay, a fee up front and it reduces the cost. But there was never a chance for me to play the caliber of golf courses that I would play tournaments on. And it is night and day. Like, the difference between your public courses and your even middle of the road country clubs is drastically different. The budgets that they have to spend on the grounds crews and everything else there is way, way higher. And obviously the difference can easily be seen and felt as you're playing. But Carlisle Country Club gave an opportunity to all high school golfers to belong to the club in full capacity. You couldn't use the pool or the clubhouse, but you could use the entire golf course, all the practice facilities, the locker room, etc. You got full access to that for $275, and it started the second the season opened up till the day you finished your last high school tournament. And the pro tracked everything because obviously they're very in tune with junior golf in the area. Like, high school golf is actually, within the golf community, fairly popular, all things considered. So that was one of the best opportunities that I ever had, but I didn't get that until my senior year. And I hope that changes for people, because I was even privileged enough to be in a position where I could play at public golf courses on a semi-regular basis. I can't imagine what it would be like to not have that opportunity and want to pursue golf. It makes it even harder. So, in terms of gaming and golf, most of your gamers are still fairly young. Nobody really has the disposable income to play golf on a consistent basis, which makes it hard. But I think as time goes on, you are slowly going to start to see that change. The League of Legends LCS viewership base, for example, is old enough to the point where Bud Light can start sponsoring. So people are getting to the age where they're starting to have disposable income. I'd really be interested to see if Nadeshot started golf vlogging consistently, what kind of viewership he would get on it. Because there are some channels, as I previously mentioned, GM Golf is one of the most consistent golf vloggers on YouTube. Brody Smith does a decent job. Dude Perfect's not really a golf vlog, but they do some golf content, which is nice. Rick Shields Pro Golf is one of the best out there. That if you want to explore some courses or learn a little bit about the game, or even just watch the equipment as it changes every year, he's one of the best guys to go to. I think golf content will become more popular as people get older and people get more access to the game. Now, this tournament of the Gamers and Golf Invitational, or the charity thing, I'm really interested to see how this format goes and see if they put the content around it. Because assuming this is for charity, there's no reason why this whole thing should not be live streamed or vlogged in some capacity. Like, you need to have Hecz, Nade, Fwiz, and Rambo all in a group and just let them crap talk each other the entire time. Or throw a celebrity in the group in the mix with some of them. Just allow the content to flow. One of the absolute worst parts about golf is how it is shown on television. It's boring when Tiger doesn't play. I've played the game for, I'm 26 now. I've been playing since I was 4. I've been playing the game for 22 years, and I'll sit here and tell you, golf is the worst sport to watch on television, especially in non-majors. Like, without question. I can't tell you half the events, what's going on. I'll tune in whenever I've seen a course, or I've specifically played a course, or there's history or storylines going into it, sure, but that's not always the case for golf. So this is where YouTube can play a big role. Golf will inevitably become a part of the majority of people who play games lives at some point. If you can modernize content and make it more suitable for people to digest in a 10 to 12 minute segment, or even for a live stream, that would be great. Speaking of that, one final shout out I do want to give. If you have not followed the Foreplay podcast by Barstool, including Frankie, Riggs, and the rest of the crew there, Trent, I believe, they do a great job of covering golf from the media point in a very modern way. Obviously, it's Barstool. You know, they're a lot better at what they do than most media companies. So take a look at them. They also do some golf course vlogs. Specifically, they did the Tobacco Road vlog where I think it was Frankie putted off the front of, that would be 5. One's the par 4 Or 1's the par 5, 2's the par 4, 3's the par 3, 4. Yeah, so the 5th hole is a par 4 where if you get just barely on the false front at the edge of the green, it can roll 50 yards away. And he did exactly that, and it was hilarious. But that's what I want to see. I want to be able to go on YouTube and watch good quality golf content that's entertaining, that's enjoyable, and quite frankly, I think that stems from people who have been on YouTube and done this content for years. And who is that? That is gamers. Gamers know the algorithm, they know how it works, and they know how to make it entertaining. So please, this is the perfect hybrid of my two worlds that I really want to see combined in some capacity. I said on Twitter, my dream one day would be to play in this golf tournament. And I haven't done any vlogging or anything like that, but I would 100% be down to try and learn just to get to that point. The problem is I don't play enough golf consistently in the city. I'll stick to talking about video games for that. So, I don't really have much else to add on this topic other than if you are interested in golf in any capacity, reach out to me. I will do everything I can to get you started, to help you out in any capacity. If you want to learn, I'm more than happy to help. Like I said, just reach out on Twitter, on the YouTube comments, anywhere you can. I'm more than happy to help. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Similar to the intro, I'm not sure if I'll have outro music on this. I'm going to try my best, but if not, unfortunately, this will be a cold outro as well. Please follow the channel on YouTube. Drop a like, leave a comment, let me know what you think. Subscribe. Follow on Spotify, follow on Apple. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. Thank you for the love. And everybody, you have a great Monday. Goodbye.